Adam's an Olympic shooter at the 2000 Olympic Games. Adam's one of the owners of Hunting Essentials, and he's providing the safari slings to Australian and New Zealand hunters. And we're going to have a quick instructional video from Adam about how to fit your safari sling. So Adam, what's the first steps that people need to do after they've ripped the sling out of the packet?
Okay, first step is to orientate the sling with the small loop towards the muzzle and the large loop towards the butt. So you start by holding the buckle on the top side and sliding the loop over the barrel. Now, as a little tip, if you have a quick detached swivel, we recommend you install that first, or if you have permanent swivels, then it's just as easy. So we start by separating these two bits of plastic, and then we just insert the top through the hole and push the two bits of plastic together. And then that sits nicely against the stock. If you prefer to have the sling behind the stud, you just remove again the way that it went on, put the whole sling behind the pin for the swivel, and then reinsert it from the back. Put your two pieces of plastic back together, and you'll see it will pull up against behind the pin. So for the other end of the rifle, if we follow it, keeping the sling flat to the end, this end is really important that it is always placed behind the swivel, not in front. For it to work correctly, it needs to be behind so it can easily drop off during operation of the safari sling. So once again, we pull open the two pieces of plastic, we insert the sling piece in, push them together, and there we have it. You can make small adjustments to the length of cord that goes through so that it is even or to your preference. You will experiment with that during the operation. So you've just put your sling on. The best thing to do is to hold it by the sling and release it and see what happens. As you can see, this has got quite a cant in towards my body. When I'm wearing the sling, I prefer to have it canted slightly out away from the body. So there are two forms of adjustment on this sling. One is for cant and the other is for length. So with the cant, we simply pull on these little cords to change the length, which can change the cant, simply like that. Once you've got the cant adjusted and the rifle is sitting nice and level, you begin by putting your arm and head through the sling over onto your back so that it sits on your body like this, unsupported, so that it can easily be put up into position. So the second form of adjustment is how high or low the gun sits on your body, and we use this buckle here. As you can see, it's quite high on my body, and when I go to lift, it can often get caught on the way up. So I make it a little bit longer by just dropping the sling down a little bit so my scope is near my belt, and it can be carried like this or
So
like this.
Adam, that means it's adjustable for virtually any body type.
Any body type, any size.
Yeah, the tall ones, the short ones, the slim ones, and the not so slim ones.
And it's important that you get used to the operation of the sling before you go out hunting, so that when you get the height comfortable in position, you practice by lifting in this manner and just repeat it. Often a slight move forward with the front hand, making the gun push forward, and then pulling back is where a lot of success occurs.
So Adam, that's quite fast to use. Now we've seen in previous videos, it's a lot faster than pulling a sling, a rifle that's been slung over your shoulder back into position. So if we're walking in the field, can you show us just some of the positions that you can carry the rifle in?
So if you're traveling on your own and you have no issue of danger in front of you, you can carry it on your side, which is very handy for bending down, going through brush. You just direct the rifle how you need to. If you're in a group, it can be carried more upright, so the muzzle's pointed in a safe direction at all times. And any number of those positions, it can be retrieved and used quickly. Sometimes you may need to ensure the sling has fallen over the stock. Worst case scenario, if it does not, your rifle may roll over like this, but it won't hit the ground. You can be hands-free, you can readjust, making sure the sling is properly put in the stock.
So your rifle's always ready to use, always handy, and you've got the ability to use your hands for GPSs, compass, spotting game, having a drink,
Having lunch.
having lunch.
It can also be used like a traditional sling. You make the sling shorter, has similar mounting points, you can carry it over your shoulder.
Yep. Why would you do that if you have a safari sling?
Maybe if you were going to be climbing some really rough terrain and you wanted the gun on your back,
Yep.
you could tighten it up and have the gun on your back while you scamper rocks.